It's a very, very old crooked system. I mean, you've got the old man there with the statue there. That's how old the place is. I mean, we'll walk around slightly. Well, I don't know how close we can get. What we need is the boys that are suffering inside with the coronavirus, visits, all going downhill. These boys are already in prison and they're getting punished again. Yeah, and I think that will be maybe like the visiting area or where the officers go in. I mean, we can't set too much on the grounds, but look at these gates. You know? It's one hell of a place. I think that will be the wings up there. And then we've got the other part there. It's like an old castle, really. It's like an old castle. I'm going to walk around. It's one hell of a place to find as well. I mean, it's quite difficult to find. I think this is just another section of the prison, but I think they're building around the prison now. So we're going to walk around a little bit. See how close we can get. Wormwood Scrub is a big place. It's got to be well over 1,000 population. I would say it's overcrowded in there. Boys are not getting their visits. They won't be out there sale much. And it's like it's on the street. So you're walking through the street and then you've got a prison just over there. It's like these boys are all forgotten about. They're not allowed to visit because of this coronavirus. It's strange here really, because like, I'm coming around the sides now. It's like, there's the prison there. It's another part of the prison, that's the side bit. See that barbed wire there? It's actually illegal to have that. I think they get fined every year for having the barbed wire. They've still got it. Yep, there's more of the prison there. It's very similar for me when I filmed Reading, the old layout, the old Victorian style of the jail. Like I said about this barbed wire, they actually get fined every year for having this barbed wire. It's a breach of human rights. It's like they're getting away with it. What, because people are in prison? So what, they have to suffer and look at that out their window and they're going on their exercise and they're seeing barbed wire. This has got to be some part of the wings. And we're going to keep going round. You're just walking on the road in the prison. It's like, you won't believe it, it's a prison where it's laid out. So see, there's the sidewalk and then you got that wall here. You got the prison there. See what I mean? Strange. What a layout. Wormwood Scrubs. And then you got just up the road here. You got Liverpool Christie Athletic Stadium. So you got really nice things. You got a normal road, and then you've got the prison. Don't worry, boys. Just because you're in prison don't mean you're a bad person. You make a mistake and you go from there and you'll get there in the end. But I think we've got a hospital right next to the prison. It's strange. Yeah, we're going to walk around slightly more. Yeah, so this is the other part of the prison. That's funny, that is. So that's the wall there. That will be the outside of it. I think this is a prison officer here, just tying up his lace or whatever he's doing. Yeah, so this is the side bit. Old scrubs, got the old lights. It's a very, very big old wall, you know. Probably say to the lads there was someone who escaped there a few years ago. I don't think they'd be escaping this, mate, do you? And literally right next to the prison, you've got a hospital. And then the prison is on the main road anyway. Yeah? Making positive choices, okay? We're overpopulated. can't have a visit, smoking ban, very, very hard jail, probably full of gangs. See, we're in West London, but I would say you get all sorts. You get north, east, south, west. So it's like they're causing problems, and they say to lads now, if you're in a gang, to write it down. Now, the main thing, if you're involved in that sort of stuff, you keep quiet. So like the boys are going to grass up, because the damage that's going to cause for when they leave be worse than it would cause for when they're in. So a lot of boys will just suffer and not say anything, you know. And like we got a hospital right next to the prison. Like, come on, what world are we living in where this is acceptable? Like, it's not right. All this stupidness here. What positive choices do they have? What, locking them away and coming up with the word rehabilitation? That's not right. You know, we can't say all officers are bad and all, you know, all this, but it's very low amount from my experience, and I'm sure others would say that the officers help them, because there was a word called rehabilitation. It's not correct and it's not real. But obviously the layout of this prison, like, I've been walking for a while now, and I think maybe have a few officers just parking near the prison. We're going to try and get round it a little bit more. It is very, very long and big. I mean, they've got to have well over 1,000 people in there. So we're going to get around the side slightly. We're going to keep filming, and we're going to just tell our stories about prison, you know, and the poor boys suffering, and girls, not necessarily in this prison, but in others. Here we go. We're going to get another angle on this prison now. We are on public footpath. Very strange around here. It's laid out. You got that, and then you got that. So we're going to carry on. This is the old prison. They got the sign there again saying, what is this funniness? Making positive changes and choices. Now that's funny. Now what, is it suspicious because I'm coming here filming a prison and talking about it? Nah. All we're doing is just filming the jail and talking about a few stories. Sorry lad. It is a very old-fashioned place. Look at the mould, and see the boys when they're in their cells, they'd be mouldy. Horrible conditions for the lads. And then chuck the coronavirus on top of that. Look at even the birds up here, look. The boys love seeing the birds when they're in there. The birds are living better than the boys. Wow, massive. Now, I've been walking for a good 10 minutes. All the different sides of this prison. It's massive. It would be nice if we could get a few lads at the window or something and say hello. As an ex-offender myself, it's so nice to see places from a different side. But it's a very, very big prison. Beautiful place, isn't it?
I love the prison.
And poor boys in there suffering, eh?
Well, they've got stereos and everything now.
No, I'm an ex-offender myself. I've not been here. But if you just look at the mould and everything.
I went past one night and they had their fucking ghetto blasters and everything.
But they're doing things to get by, you know. And with the coronavirus, these boys are suffering now because they're in prison, but now they can't have a visit.
Yeah.
Like with their I know they've done wrong.
They stopped them smoking now as well.
This is right. I was inside in 2017 and they stopped it then.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure London jails went last, but the size of this place, I mean.
Well, that's been there donkeys.
Take care, have a good day. Yeah, so this is the Scrubs, and it is one hell of a place. I mean, I would love to get an officer or someone who's been released from here now while we're here. But don't underestimate, like that gentleman just said, it's always a suffer mentality. You're in prison already, you haven't got to suffer anymore. Now why should boys inside suffer again? Now he's just a general member of the public. It's just educating people, because I was in here myself, not this specific prison, but I was in jail. So what, because I've been in jail, what, I'm a scum? Nah, you're a human being. I know at the minute the birds up there are living better, up on that roof there, but remember, like, this is just a mistake you've made, or even if you made a million mistakes, and you will get there in the end. But it's just educating people, especially just members of the public. Like, even they'll be like looking at you funny because you're filming, saying that prisoners are scum, they read the papers, prisoners, but they're not, because I was a prisoner myself. What, just because you're in prison you're a scum? You're not. You're a human being. And I really hope these boys get them visits back as soon as possible. They can start seeing their families again, not just on Zoom calls, but actually in real life. And they can actually build their relationships again and see their children, see their mums, see their dads, and get out of this 23-hour bang up, because I'm sure they're on it, or even worse. Look at that. I mean, it is an intimidating place to walk by, I ain't gonna lie, let alone living in there.
But free the fucking guys!
That's right,
Free the
brother.
guys!
We want the boys on camera. This is the boys. It's nice there to have a nice reaction. These boys are human beings. We should treat them like human beings. We've got this silliness on the wall. It needs to stop, all this stuff. It's only down to the lads. If they want to change, they will. If they learn from others, a prison officer or a course they do isn't going to change them. Now, it's down to the boys. I forget about the magpies, the bad luck or whatever. This place, look at this place. Look at the walls, look at the mould. You imagine inside what these boys are suffering with. And it's an estate just off the prison. So these boys are in prison and they've got to see houses. You imagine living in there, they're suffering for years and years, and they've got to see a estate right there. So they're seeing the outside world and they're trapped. These poor boys. But don't worry, you're human beings. You will get there in the end, lads. Keep fighting. And just because you've been in jail, don't mean you're this, you're that. You make a mistake and we try and move on. And you will get there. Just treat them a bit better. And the public needs to sort out the views on prison. It's a disgrace. Look at that. Just look at that, for instance. You've got a housing estate and you've got a prison. So boys are in there now, wanting to go home, don't want to be there, and they've got a housing estate right behind them. So they could potentially see normal life. And here, we have a little park here as well, right near the prison. And they're in there suffering. Fair enough, if they've done a crime, they go to prison, yeah? But why have they got to suffer 10, 30 times over? With a park near them, you've got a housing estate right near them. It's too much. You should put these prisons in the middle of nowhere. Why have you got to put them right here? What, because they're from London? And they should suffer? It's not right. It's a massive place. I mean, I've been walking for a good 20 minutes now. We got to the other side. We're going to go back round and get near the front. Hopefully get some interactions. We've had two from the public and I love that. One guy shouting at the boys that are inside, because you remember, they are human, and just because you're inside doesn't mean you're a nobody. People are all thinking of you. I was inside myself for years. That hopelessness you feel, keep strong. You will get there, and that release date will happen. And unfortunately there's IPP fellas still in the system, and ladies, but they will get there in the end as well. And it's just about making the best of your days while you're inside, and keeping that contact with the family. Now, as I've said, the coronavirus, they haven't been getting their visits. It's had to be a Zoom call, probably with an officer right behind them, so they can't relax and build that bond with their family. They can't physically touch them. It's a disgrace. I mean, we're out of lockdown today. Where's the visits for the boys? Why can't I have a visit? You know, what, they got to wait county to county or borough to borough? These places like this, they're probably too doubled up. They've got no space on their own. It's a disgrace how they're treated. And you can't hear no sounds because they're probably locked away. They're probably on 24-hour bang up now. Probably been on 24-hour bang up for the whole year because of the coronavirus. So what, because of the coronavirus, they get no visits. They can do the visits. They can do them. If you stick to the bubble, like just seeing your family members, you can still do a visit. Why not? Oh, what, because you're a prisoner? Come on. This is human beings in there. Absolute joke. Don't worry, boys, I've been here myself. Not this exact prison, but I've been in and I know how you feel. Believe me. Years and years of rotting away. I'll tell you now, to have a prison laid out like this, right next to real life, it's not right. Boys in there been doing absolute years. And what, they got to see normal life and they'll be like, I want to go home. Oh no, you got to stay, haven't you? So why have a prison right near real life? Put it deserted in the middle of nowhere so the boys just see like the animals and bits and pieces. They've been set from real life people because they're in prison mentality. You can't put a prisoner right near real life because it makes his time harder, much harder. I mean, you got people running up and down right near this prison here. Like, it's ridiculous. People jogging up and down just because I'm filming the prison. I'll continually film the prison. I'll talk about the issues because I've lived there myself. And just because they're in prison, they're not scum. I'll tell you who's scum: paedophiles and sex offenders. But I'll say this prison here be very low on them numbers. You have the normal crimes. And like, normally, say you walk by at this time, you might hear the boys on the exercise. That's gone out the window. I'm sure that'd be excuses are there's not enough staff or the coronavirus. So you've got no exercise, which is a breach of human rights. It does happen. Don't listen to them. Oh, we try our best. Prisoners are spoiled anyway. I could hear music getting played. Like one of the public spoke to me and said, you can hear their music going. So what? Let them do what they got to do to get through their time. Because do remember, they are in prison. So what? They should be in silence? Nah. And obviously we're just walking around here now. And we've got the prison. And we've got basically like a hospital. Right neck and neck on top of each other. It's crazy. I mean, who thought of this stuff? Is it to make the boys suffer again? So they can watch real life and hear cars out their windows? Be like, oh, I remember riding a car and driving a car. Oh, I can't do it, can I? I've got to be locked up constantly. Yeah, fair enough, you've done the crime. But you shouldn't have to be punished 2, 3, 4, 5 times over. Like, it's not right. It's inhumane. The state of the place, they need to sort it out. Because this building don't look like it's going to carry on for too much longer. It really don't. All they've got is these silly signs all around. Absolutely ridiculous. That really is. So we're going to keep walking. We're going to film to the other side and then we're done at Scrubs. Yeah, I mean, we've pretty much covered Scrubs now. I don't know if there's any couple of famous people in there. I would say the Screws would park around here. Because obviously I did get one screw on camera. Yeah, and I'd say they park there. They got it nice and cushy. Nice and local to them. What about the boys in there, eh? What about them? What about when they got all this normal life going on now while they're in there? It's absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to keep going. We're just walking down a normal road. There's a sort of like a housing estate there, and then the prison's right there, just beyond them trees. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Now I'm sure Scrubs is a BCAT. Now these boys are meant to be so dangerous. Why have they got a housing estate right near them? What's all that about? And then you've got like, boys can hear this as well. just the more suffering. They can hear trains going. Imagine, boys, maybe get 20, 30 years from a mistake, and they'll be like, I won't be able to get on a train again for 20, 30 years. But they've got to hear that on a daily basis. What's that about? Yeah, look at it. Look at this. Look how old-fashioned it is. What is this? That's the prison with the barbed wire. That's illegal. What's this? I don't understand. We're going to get round. We're going to film the front again, and then I feel we're done here at Scrubs. I mean, it is intimidating. I mean, I don't know if this is some sort of bit off the prison, if officers live here, or I don't know. I'm not too sure what that is. It just looks like normal flats to me. And then, like, the prison's obviously just beyond it. Like I said, the trains are there. These things like the gate are similar to the front of the prison. But we're going to keep going. We'll film the front. And we'll see if we can get any boys getting released. Tell their stories. Something like that. Yeah? So here we go. Back to the front. Obviously there's not... This could be potentially a family member or officer potentially getting on with their day, enjoying the day. What about them boys in there then? What are they, locked away? And quietly kept? You know? What happens to them boys? And that's the Scrubs for you. I mean, it's a horrible day. Very cold. There's the front. You've seen this on the telly a few times. Like I said to you earlier, Minder, the TV programme, I think they got released a few of the characters from there, from here. Back in the 80s, I think it was the 70s or the 80s. It's actually quite nice to see, but not in another sense, because of, obviously the boys are on 24-hour bang up with the coronavirus. We're out of lockdown today, and are these boys going to get what's right? Are they going to get their visits back? Are they going to get their human rights back, which they've always had, but it just seems to be, when it's right from the officers or the government, it's taken away again. Now, give these boys the respect they're due. Just give them back their visits as a human. They deserve a visit. What about their children they want to see? What about their family members they want to see? Or what? Should we just lock them away for 24 hours, shut them up, make them more bitter, and potentially cause more dramas? I think we've done that over the years with the smoking ban. Chuck the coronavirus in, which you can put down to obviously some things you can't stop, but when you're out of lockdown and outside of prison, we have stages that we can go to certain places. Why can't they have their visits? Just give the boys their visits. Just give them just their basic visits, and give them their exercise. But actually give them an hour, not just give them 10 and 20 minutes. Just give them what they deserve. You know? Obviously this lady here has just left, but I'm not sure if she's an officer or just a worker, or... That's the thing. You don't know, but I feel for you boys, and it won't last forever. Let's give them what they deserve. Not just Scrubs, but everywhere. But Scrubs, we've done ya. It's one hell of a place. I've walked from the front to the back. It's massive. Unfortunately, we couldn't get no lads on camera. We did get a couple of interactions with the public. One good, one bad. That flag there, obviously we've just done the prison, but this is the visitor centre. So for people from outside, family members going to visit, this will be where they end up. Hopefully, God willing, the visits will be coming back. I mean, it seems to be open now, so that could be a good sign of basically visits are going again. Yeah, and that's obviously a little bit of the other side of the prison, and we are signing out with Scrubs. We have done a good amount, and God bless you all, and hopefully get the visits going and other bits and pieces, and you're human beings. And see, this is the third video here now. We're going to end it with the Scrubs. I just thought I'd show the front again. I was just literally speaking to a lady. We have a prison officer just there, probably smoking. It'd be nice if the lads could have a fag, wouldn't it? Yeah, I was just speaking to a lady in the visitor centre, Obviously these boys in here, they can't have visits, and the only visits they're allowed to have now are legal visits. Why can't these boys get their family on a visit? The coronavirus has ended today, apparently parts of it, so why can't they have a visit? Now it's nice for an officer there to have a fag, isn't it? But what about the boys if they want to smoke? No, they got to smoke a vape pen, you know? They're banned from smoking because of an officer breathing in second-hand smoke. Now, the system's crooked, it needs fixing. You need people to highlight the real issues of these boys. They are human beings, and just treat them like a human, you know? And that is Scrubs, and I'm ending it here. Obviously I think we've just had maybe an officer potentially walking past. I'm really trying to get an officer to engage. It seems to be, because I've done a few prisons now, they don't really want to come on camera because they know what I'm highlighting is real, and they don't really want to speak on it. So let's just hope things can get sorted and these visits can finally happen for these lads. I mean, 1 year without a visit. I mean, if you've got children and you've not seen your child for 1 year, you imagine the difference in your child. So that's it, Scrubs, we're signing out.